All right, guys, welcome to another episode. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros,
And this is the Smart Take.
guys. So we're back with another episode, and this is going to be episode 4 of season 2. And we're going to start the episode off by recapping that Cardinals game. I mean, first, right off the back, obviously we lost 28-16. The Cardinals are not that good of a team, so they're very disappointed in that loss. A lot of blame to go around, like to a lot of different players, a lot of different groups. What are your thoughts on the game right off the bat?
I mean, I just feel like we underestimated them, I wouldn't even say we underestimated
Absolutely.
them. I just feel like we didn't come to play. Like the defense gave that first drive from the defense, it seemed like they were just asleep. We sat
Yeah.
Zach Martin, we sat Tyron Smith, and I just feel as if that was a playoff game, or if that was let's just say the Eagles or the 49ers, those players would have played. And I just feel like they were thinking, oh, we're just taking the game off. It's the Cardinals. They're a tanking team. And the NFL is an any given Sunday kind of league. So it just,
Exactly.
you can't really take opponents for granted. And I feel as if we did that. And clearly they showed like, yeah, we might be tanking, but like we're still NFL players. We still like to win. And they went out there and showed that, and there's no excuse for that. We can't be making excuses. Say we can't lose games like that. You predicted in the beginning of the year that we would beat all the good teams, but we'd lose to a team. You didn't say the Cardinals per se, but a
Yeah.
team like the Cardinals. Those are one of the losses that you would say that we would have, and hopefully that was a humbling loss, letting people know that we're not invincible. We came off the high road of the 2 weeks of only allowing 10 points in 2 games, and then just got hit in the mouth. And but the only good thing about that is there's only way is up. We play the Patriots this weekend, so I feel like we're gonna have a big bounce back game. But before we get into that, how did you feel about the game? Other than clearly that we lost and we shouldn't have.
I mean, like you said, definitely got punched in the mouth. And it's not so much that I think they underestimated them. They just, like you said, they did not come to play. They were just unprepared in that game. Them missing 3 offensive linemen that, in my opinion, probably could have played just shows that they kind of phoned that one in, and you just can't have that on the team. But like you said, going into the season, I feel like when it comes to the Eagles, when it comes to the 49ers or some of those other good teams, I feel like the players are kind of sick of hearing like that they can't be good teams, so they're going to come to bring it against them, and that's why I knew we're not going to go undefeated. So there's going to be games in there where we lose to just teams where we have no business losing to, and that's exactly what the Cardinals were. So, like you said, Patriots coming up, so hoping to have a bounce back game. But before we do that, we can get into our predictions that we got right and wrong going into this game. So I predicted that Dak would have 310 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think. Yeah, 310 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 250 yards, 1 touchdown, and of course, we can't even. We're not going to just skate by and act like he didn't throw a pick at the end. That was a terrible throw, terrible
100%.
decision. But my biggest issue with that game, offensive wise, was just the play calling in the red zone. We were able to drive the ball down the field the entire game, but once we got down inside the 20s, the play calling was very suspect. I didn't know what Mike was doing. Some of the play calling has really had me questioning if he knew what he was doing out there. So that he addressed it in his press conferences. So hopefully, going into these next games, we can see that fixed up because right now I think it's Jake Ferguson. Right now, he has 8 red zone targets. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Gallup have like 6 combined. So, I mean, that's just not okay. We need to find a way to get our wide receivers the ball. Our wide receivers need to find a way to get open, and our quarterback needs to find a way to get them the ball. So, I mean, that's just complete all blame to go all around on why that's not working right now. But next prediction, I predicted that Tony Pollard would have 80 yards and a touchdown. He actually had 122 yards, no touchdowns. I predicted that we'd have a tight end touchdown, and that didn't come true. Our tight ends, we didn't. Like I said, once we got in that down in that red zone, we weren't even really throwing the ball much. We were running the ball a lot, which I wasn't that big of a fan of. I thought CD would have 110 and 2 touchdowns, and Michael Gallup would have about 50 yards, but their yards kind of switched. Michael Gallup really, this is the first game we've seen Michael Gallup this season really show up to play and really be that guy we need him to be. And so Michael Gallup had 6 catches for 92 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 4 catches for 53 yards. And then I predicted that Micah would have 2 sacks, and he ended up with, I think, only one. He had one good sack, and there's another person who deserves some blame for this game. There was a lot of plays I saw Micah was just completely out of position, being too aggressive on the rush, not containing the edge because the defense gave up over 200 yards on the ground. And if you look, I saw play charts of where they were running the ball, and a lot of their success came on the outside runs. The interior D line held up very strong and were kind of shutting things down. But once they got outside, they were definitely getting chunk yardage to where we couldn't really do anything. And it was just part of Michael Parsons was part of that. Although he did come away with 1 sack, I predicted that DaRon Bland would get an interception because, like we said, we thought he would be getting a lot of those targets with Trayvon Diggs being out and him having to step up into that cornerback 2 role. And I mean, he did get a lot of targets, and honestly, he didn't really show me much. I wasn't too big on DaRon Bland leaving that game, so hopefully he can step it up because we've seen him be a really good corner, like we said in the past. He led our team in interceptions last season, so if we can get him in rhythm, get him stepping up on that outside corner spot, we'll be fine. And then I also predicted that we'd have a safety interception, and we didn't have any interceptions or any turnovers for at all for that matter. So those are my predictions. What were your predictions? What did you get right and wrong?
Let's see here. I of course thought we were gonna win.
Yeah.
I
Oh
thought
yeah.
Dak would throw for 305 and 4 touchdowns, like you said, 250, a touchdown, a pick, and yeah, bad decision. I I'm not gonna sit here and try to justify what he was thinking. Don't get me wrong. If you look at the play though, nobody else is open. I remember I was talking
At
to
all.
somebody on Twitter that why couldn't you just throw it to TP? I mean, yeah, but one, the safety was coming down, and if you look at the play, TP didn't even run a route to even get open
Yeah,
as
it
if
was
he wanted the
very
ball. So
lazy.
it was like him getting that ball right there. The safety coming down, it could have been a pick six, basically based on how he ran that route. I thought
I
TP would
agree
have
completely.
105 and a touchdown. He only had 122, or he had 122, so that's more than 105, but he didn't have a touchdown. And my thing is with the play calling, like, why are we? I feel like we make it a point of emphasis to only go for one receiver. Like, we made it a point of emphasis. Okay, Michael Gallup, you're getting the ball today. A couple games ago, CD, you're getting the ball today. I just feel like we should have an offense to where everybody can get the ball. Like, I feel like why can't we have multiple receivers play good at once? Or like, okay, this is your turn, or this is your turn. But in my opinion, if we're gonna choose somebody to go to, CD's your number one receiver. You got to find a
Absolutely.
way to get him the ball. I mean, 4 catches for 53 yards is just not gonna. It's just not gonna cut it. You
Absolutely.
very rarely see a game from Justin Jefferson. He has 4 catches for 53 yards, unless the defense made it an absolute their mission that if we lose today, it's not gonna be because of that guy. And
Exactly. And
the
teams aren't
Cardinals
doing that
just
this season.
you can't tell me the Cardinals made it their absolute mission to shut out CD. That just so and like you said, Mike McCarthy spoke about his that his play calling has been a bit suspect, and I feel as if you can't keep saying that without any changes or so I feel like these
That's true.
upcoming weeks are very big and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You haven't been an out play caller for it's only week 4. That's the beauty of the thing. It's only week
For
4.
sure.
We're 2-1. If we come out of this week 3-1, it'll be okay. We gotta continue to push in the right direction, but we definitely need to get that the offense rolling. I agree. We can't expect the defense to hold every team to under 10. Now, don't get me wrong, you're definitely not supposed to give up 28 to the Cardinals. That's unacceptable. But you definitely can't assume that we're only going to give up 10. It's just not realistic, especially with our all pro corner out for the season. But
Man, that
and
hurts.
and
That
another thing
hurts
about
so
the red
much.
zone, we were in such I feel like we got ourselves in some bad position. It was always we'd get to the 10 and get tackled. So it's like, okay, don't get me wrong, you're in the red zone, you gotta find a way to score and not get field goals. But The first and 10 from the 10, you can't get a first down. It kind of hurts because a lot of the time people get to the 15. That way you don't got to get a touchdown right here. Just get us to the 5, and then you have 4 down from the 5. But
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of the if we're inside the 10 and we're playing a team like the Cardinals, hey, go for it. You make them drive all the way down the field. So I think we need to figure that out. But hey, we got to score at the end of the day. And I feel like you're right. CD needs to get those touches in the red zone.
And
Or I'll go ahead.
I just want to mention he did get one target in the red zone on the fade, and while I do think there was a penalty that could have been called, he also could have gone for the ball and still caught it. He was looking at
I
the
agree.
ref, looking for a call, and kind of just missed the ball completely. It bounced like right off the guy's head, and he could have caught it. So, and the call on Michael Gallup with the flag being picked up, there were some things that just didn't swing our way in this game as well. I mean, this was just a bad game overall, but
And
you
another thing, like, why are we? Don't get me wrong, I'm a Brandon Cook fan, but why are we throwing a jump ball to a 5'10" man when we have Michael Gallup? Isn't that his specialty? Head top toe tap, like,
I don't
I
get it,
feel like
man.
I don't really know. We have him running slants when we have Brandon Cooks. We have him running slants and double moves when isn't that Brandon Cooks game? The quick things, separate because you're faster than a lot of people. Like, I don't know. I just feel like we need to figure that out. There's a lot big mix up right now. It's just not, it doesn't seem like it's working. Um, I thought Gallup would have 50 yards. He had 92. I thought we had to have a tight end touchdown, but our tight end went to Rico Dowdle, who had a very big game, by the way.
Yeah,
Let me shout out him. He was
definitely
running very hard. He put on for the running back twos in the league, and I'm not gonna say he put the league on notice, but he definitely opened my eyes a little bit because don't get me wrong, I was
for
familiar
sure.
with his game, but I didn't think he had the kind of game he had in him. So I'll definitely say shout out to him. I thought Mike would have 2 sacks. He had one, and I thought Bland would have a pick. And I thought we'd have 3 takeaways. Neither of those things happened. But hey, it happens. You got to
Yeah,
move on. Sometimes
facts.
you're not going to win every game.
Exactly.
So last year the Chiefs lost. I forgot who they lost to, but it was a
The
bad
Colts
team. Colts week 3. And the Colts were
this year
abysmal.
they
So
lost to the Lions week 1.
the Lions are actually way better than what the Colts were last year. And the Lions, they're
True.
trending in the right direction. So I feel like that's a little bit different, but based on being the former Super Bowl champs, losing to the
Yeah.
Lions week 1, that's probably not ideal. But
Exactly.
both of
Yeah.
those teams are trending in the right direction. But hey, like I said, it happens. Oh, before we get into the predictions for the Patriots, if you had to credit our loss to one thing, like one group, running backs, QB, DBs, line, who would you say that like the main reason that we lost that game was?
I'm having a hard time picking between the defense giving up 200 yards on the rushing and just our red zone play calling. Because like I said, I'm leaning red zone play calling. Like I said, we got down there plenty of times and just could not get in the end. We just
Yeah,
could not get in the end zone, and it was in my opinion, it's not because it wasn't like Dak was just missing wide open receivers or people just weren't making plays. It was the plays that were being called. People just weren't open, or if we got them the ball, they had nowhere to go, and we tried to run it a lot. So yeah, I'm definitely going. I guess that would be Michael McCarthy for the play calling we had in the red zone. What about you?
no, yeah, that's valid. Because like you said, we were getting down there. That was not the issue. We were pushing the ball fine, running the ball fine, throwing the ball fine. Like it just once we get to that first and 10 from the 10, we just stalled out. And
Exactly.
I expect that to be significantly better this upcoming week and for the weeks to come. So I'm big on the defense. You can't give
Yeah.
up 28 to the Cardinals and Josh Dobbs. Like I'm talking about first play of the game, they ran like a read option, like you said, right at Micah. Josh
Yeah.
Dobbs takes it
Oh,
for dang near 70 yards, and that's when I was like,
Michael was
what are we doing here?
so clearly out of position on that play.
And a lot of the times he'll like at least hustle back and play. Didn't even really try to get back in the play. Don't get me wrong, he was
Exactly.
running like probably wouldn't have called him, but like Micah usually doesn't even care about that. He
He
just
tries
gives it
anyway.
effort every time. So it's just like one of those
We just
weird
weren't
games
seeing
a
that.
year.
Yeah.
Every year, everybody has them. It's like, dang, we lost to them, really? And
Last year was
then
the Broncos game for us. That game was just terrible.
yeah, and then it just happens. But we're gonna move on. We got better. We have a game tomorrow. Game of the week, of course. Cowboys. We play the Patriots at
Yeah.
3:25. So we're gonna get into our predictions. What are yours?
So I'm predicting that I'm every until I see it, I guess I just got to predict that our offense will find a way to get it together. I'm thinking Dak will have 315 and 3 touchdowns. Tony Pollard will have 105 and 1 touchdown. CD will have 110 yards, 2 of Dak's touchdowns. Brandon Cooks will have 70 yards and 1 of Dak's touchdowns. I'm not predicting the tight end touchdown this week just because I feel like our offense, especially in the red zone, is gonna make a point to try to get our receivers the ball as they should. And we're gonna see how that works out for them. I think Michael will have 2 sacks, and in terms of the defense getting takeaways and stuff, I'm just gonna have to see it with the way our corners played in that last game with them needing to step up against without Trayvon Diggs. I just didn't really see it. Even Stephon Gilmore was getting beat by Hollywood Brown, so until I can see them get turnovers without Diggs on the field, I'm gonna just hold off. But knowing Mike, he'll still be able to get his sacks and be out there on the field. And I think D-Law will come away with the sack. And I think we'll win 32-18.
Okay, okay. Me personally, I have Dak going for 273 touchdowns. I don't know how many. Like, I don't get me wrong. I think we have for sure like multiple 300 plus yard games, but just how like our offense has been somewhat conservative. I don't know how many 300-yard games he's gonna have. Just like you
Right.
know, we're throwing a lot of don't get. It's not like check downs, but it's just like a lot of quick throws.
Yeah.
That way, and then like if we start scheming people open more, maybe his numbers will start going up. Like the other
Right.
teams. Other teams are wide open. So like
So
the
it
more we
hurts to
scheme,
watch other teams play and just see Tyreek Hill or freaking
Justin
Justin
Jefferson,
Jefferson or
Devontae
just
Adams,
literally just be wide open, nobody around. And it's like, why can't we call plays like that? They say the football is a copycat game. Why can't we copy those plays? It's very rare that CD, Michael Gallup has never just been wide open.
and I
Brandon
don't know
Cooks
if
hasn't
that
been
is
here long
route
enough.
running. Like what is going
Yeah,
on?
it's very
And
rare that CD gets wide open. So I don't know
And
what
don't get me
they got to
wrong,
do about that.
and the thing is, we've shown that we can. First game of the season, when CD had his longest catch, he was wide open. So it's like we
And then that was
can
like
do
his
it.
only catch of the game for like majority of the game. He came and got like 3 more catches towards the end, but like he had 1 target, 1 catch for like majority of that game. It's like why do we why don't we do that all the time,
But I
or at
will
least
say the
try to
next
do
game
that?
we made it a point of emphasis to go at him early and often, as we
True.
should.
Yeah.
That's your number one receiver. Treat him as such.
Facts.
You don't. Why are we treating him at times like he is Noah Brown, Dennis Houston? He's CD Lamb.
He is a
That
top
that that
receiver
name
in this
holds
league right
weight.
now. Right.
That
He is
name
a
holds weight. So like, I feel like we need to start. It's like we all know it, they all know it, but we're not treating him like it. And
exactly.
but I'm gonna still give them the benefit of the doubt because
Yeah.
there's more football to be played, and and
I know they're
we've
capable.
got us, yeah, and we're capable. That's the thing. We have the quarterbacks capable, and I believe Mike McCarthy is a capable play caller. So, and clearly CD is a capable receiver. So we're gonna see what happens. I think TP will have 70 yards and a touchdown, just because I just feel like the Patriots they're big on taking something away, and
Mm,
I feel like they'll try to
I
take
agree
our
with
run
that.
game away, make us pass it a little bit more, which that is okay. I trust our passing, but I think TP will have a couple runs where he kind of like gets like a good 15, 20-yard gain and then end up, and I like how we are staying with the run. I like how we're having a
Definitely.
somewhat balanced offense.
Definitely.
Sometimes we get too pass heavy, sometimes we get too run heavy. We're having a pretty good balance, and our offense has been moving smoothly, of course, except the red zone. So the moment we fix that, we'll be fine. I think CD will have, I also said 110, by the way. I think CD will have
Damn.
110 and 1 touchdown, but you said two. I think MG
Yeah.
will have 65 yards, and I think Brandon Cooks will have 80 yards. And I think you said 70. And I think we'll have a tight end touchdown. I actually do have MG getting a touchdown just because it's been 3 weeks and none of our receivers have gotten a touchdown. And I feel like
Yeah,
we'll try
man.
to make that a point of emphasis because, like, and don't get me wrong, I know CD is looking at the other top receiver stats like, dang, like, come on, man.
Like,
Like,
get me in there.
yeah, like get me in there. Like, I'm just as good as them. Like, I'm getting
Exactly.
like why can't I get no touchdowns, you know? And so and I think Michael could get his 2 sacks. And I think just because the player Gilly is and who he's been in his career, he'll get a pick only because, like you said, he was getting low key cooked by Hollywood Brown. And Hollywood Brown isn't even one of those receivers that, you know, and don't get me wrong, Gilly actually played good defense like on his one touchdown, but it's hard to guard a fast receiver like that
He's
all the way across
very
the
fast.
field.
Yeah.
And he was still like right there and almost got a PBU. So, you know, you just gotta test that to be a great throw, great catch. You know, sometimes you're
Right.
not gonna get home. And I think we'll have 2 takeaways. I think our pass rushers get there on Mac Jones, and I think he'll and I think he'll throw a pick. I also think he'll get a sack. I think we'll get a sack fumble. And I just think we'll have a good bounce back game. If I had a score
Definitely.
prediction, I think we'll win 35-17.
Okay, so we're pretty close. Yeah, and like the bounce back game, I definitely think they're they should have had something to prove against that Cardinals game. Like I feel
Yeah,
like just winning week to week is a statement in itself, but having a game like that, they're definitely. I would hope they would definitely be ready to come back a lot stronger, a lot more focused, and come out with a win over an inferior team. Which
for
so
sure. Oh, let me get a big shout out to Brandon Aubrey. Hey man, you've been great. I
oh
wasn't familiar
man,
with your game.
definitely.
Don't know they
I say
XFL guys, soccer guys. So hey,
yeah, they missed that first kick, and I absolutely just believe because he just no one was ready for us
well he didn't
to
miss it.
score
They
that
did
fast.
tip it, didn't they? Didn't they kind of
I,
block it?
I don't remember. I don't know, but I thought he just missed. It was his very it was
Maybe he
his
just
very
missed it.
first thing.
Yeah.
It was off our block field goal touchdown, and they just threw
Hmm.
him out for his very first NFL kick, and he's made everyone since then. So
He made
I'm
everyone
glad you
hey
mentioned
from
that.
anywhere, and I
Big shout out to him.
it felt like oh God, well, here we are again,
Right after that
because
first
when
one,
he
I
missed
was
that, we had technically missed 5 kicks in a row because
yeah,
dating back to our playoff games with Brett Maher,
Maher
it just
exactly
and don't get me wrong, I was a big I no I was not a big Brett fan, but all
throughout the
season he had
season.
been
Yeah,
great. So I was like, okay, I can live with
hey,
this. He missed I think a couple early maybe but he had been great the whole season and it just that playoffs came and it just got a little bit it got to him, maybe that
yeah,
playoffs is not
the
for
bright
everybody. It's a
lights.
bright lights, man. They got a little bit too bright.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but that's gonna be another episode, guys. So you guys can keep liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. We'll be back next week with our recap and
Oh yeah, for
take us
sure.
out.
Hopefully we're back with better news, or
Yeah,
with a win. Those videos are always more fun, especially for us.
definitely. Man, tell me about it. No sights
Yeah.
of the side, no sounds of the sideline when we
Oh
lose. Like, I
man,
mean,
no sounds. I didn't even think about that. I'm big on
man, it's
sounds of
tough.
sideline, but you don't get sounds of sideline when you lose,
You
especially to
don't
a team
deserve it.
like that. You don't deserve it.
Exactly.
So I mean, but then again, the Cardinals maybe they just have our number. Who knows? I don't remember the last time we
That
beat them.
that is
And
true.
just sometimes that happens. Like you're just like, we just can't beat this team. There's nothing
There's
like good. Like they're not better than us.
nothing.
We don't know what it is.
They
Just
just
we
have
play
our
them.
number, and it's
And it happens sometimes. It's kind of like the Clippers and the Lakers. The Clippers they usually beat the Lakers, but I will say if when it comes like
recently, yeah, the Clippers have
but when
had
it
their
comes
number,
down to
but
it, if it was in the playoffs, give me the Lakers every day. If we played them in
oh,
the
for
playoffs,
sure.
I guarantee we would smack them. Like not even
LeBron is
close.
LeBron,
Come on. And
AD,
I'm talking about the
literally,
Cowboys now. The Cowboys
yeah.
smacked the Cardinals, the Lakers smacked the Clippers for sure.
Oh, that's the thing. I feel like if we would get a chance, like they would not lose like that again. Like that's why I'm big on us beating the 49ers this year because I just don't think they're gonna lose to that team for a third time in a row. I like
Oh,
if that I'd be
not
very
3 years in a
surprised.
row, man.
Yeah,
And if they do, maybe they just have our number. I don't know.
right,
But we'll get to that when we get to that. It's Patriots
right.
week this week. Like you said, keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep sharing. Hey, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna be back next week with another video, of
Definitely.
course. Take us out.
All right, I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
And this is the Smart Take.